Well, the Liberals' change of leadership has achieved exactly what the people behind it wanted. After more than 50 hours of debate, the Rudd government's emissions trading scheme has been scuttled by the Senate. Tony Abbott's rise to the top diminished the number of Liberal senators who'd been expected to support the policy, down from a dozen to just 2. The Senate rejection has delivered the government the trigger it needs to dissolve both houses of Parliament and call an election. But the government is in no hurry, pledging instead to bring the legislation back next year for a third attempt to pass it. Dana Robertson reports from Canberra.
As the clock ticked down, the debate fired up.
We have seen the hijacking of the future, the hijacking of the national interest by extremists.
Bring it on. Bring it on. We will have the fight. We will have the fight because we will say to the Australian public, it is quite simple. If you don't understand this tax, do not vote for it.
And by close of business, they were still in full flight.
The sitting of the Senate is suspended till 10 a.m. tomorrow.
A night's rest tempered their passion.
The CPRS is dead and no amount of CPR will revive it.
We will not take a backward step. Mr President, I commend the bills to the chamber.
But the Liberals' week-long leadership spectacle achieved one thing at least.
It's going to take a while to adjust to it.
The centrepiece legislation of the Rudd government's first term went out with a whimper, thanks to an unlikely coalition who almost all disagreed with each other.
The question is, the bill be now read a third time. Those of that opinion say aye. Against say no. There being 33 ayes, 41 noes, the matter is resolved in the negative.
In the end, 2 Liberal senators defied their new leader to cross the floor.
Having taken the decision to back the legislation, I saw no reason to change my mind. If it was good enough to do it one day, in my view, it was good enough to do it the next day.
I am acting in what I believe is good faith. I am supporting the party policy of less than 24 hours ago.
But the pair didn't agree entirely with the government. Both advocated a shift to nuclear power as a cure for Australia's greenhouse ills.
I am not a theological opponent of nuclear power. I'm quite happy to have a debate about the nuclear option.
There's no longer any debate, though, about the coalition's stance on emissions trading. The policy advocated as far back as John Howard is now dead.
The coalition will not be going to the election with a new tax, whether it's a stealth tax, the emissions trading scheme, whether it's an upfront and straightforward tax like a carbon tax. There will not be any new taxes as part of the coalition's policy.
You don't fix climate change, you don't tackle climate change unless you make polluters pay. You have to make polluters pay.
The Senate loss has done nothing to deter the government from wanting its emissions trading scheme to become law, even if not in time for Copenhagen. When Parliament resumes in February, it'll reintroduce the legislation, complete with the negotiated Liberal amendments. The government's making out that it'll allow time for 5 Liberal senators to change their minds.
We call on those in the Liberal Party over the summer period who believe in taking responsible action on climate change to consider their position.
But in reality, it'll put the issue back at the forefront of political debate and potentially pave the way for the double dissolution election the government already has a trigger for.
No one should underestimate the determination of the Rudd government, the Prime Minister, the ministers with me, the government overall, to make sure we act on climate change and we see this bill pass.
And we will let the government fret and sweat over what it does. Whenever there is an election, we will be ready and we will give them one hell of a fight.
The smart money's on between July and early August, so it won't interfere with the Senate's fixed terms.
And if we hold the double dissolution election in the first half of next year, the effect would be to cut the term of the next Senate by up to a year and force an early election next time round, perhaps in only 2 years.
And it's likely the government will be too cautious for that. Dana Robertson, Lateline.